everybody, we're back. Today's Wellness and Weight Loss Wednesday, Cabral Concept Show of the Week. Excited to get into a topic because so many people write in and they ask, I'm doing everything right, but I still can't lose the weight. So let's go over exactly why that is. And I think, and honestly, by the end of this show, you will understand what I mean when I say that fat loss is permission-based. That means that your body, even though you might be doing all of the things right, your body has to feel that it's in this space where it can release body fat in order to be burned for fuel, not just glucose or sugar or storing it as fat, which might be even worse. I know so many people, I've literally worked with so many people, and they are doing a lot of things right. They're at 1,600 calories or below for the day, and they're still not losing the weight, and they're 30 to 50 pounds away from their goal. So let's get after it today. I want to go over the 5 main signals and also how to repair them as to how to take the weight off. It's exactly what we do with our clients, what we've been doing now for decades, and I want to share that with you. But of course, it goes beyond the calories in, calories out mantra that so many people just say, you just need to eat less, right? You just need to move a little bit more. I get it. That's where you start, but so many people plateau, they get stuck. Let's help those people. All right, so the first one is this, is understanding that there's basically 5 signals I'm going to go over. And what your body's essentially asking is, are we scarce on energy? Like, does your body have enough energy? Yes or no? Because remember, fat is stored energy. So if your body doesn't think it has enough energy or can't burn it efficiently, is it going to release it? No, not as easily. How stressed out are you? How well are you sleeping? Is your body inflamed? Are you moving your body? So you can just kind of answer those yourself. And if the answer is like, I am stressed, I'm not moving a lot because I'm tired, right? You're not sleeping well because you're stressed. You are inflamed. Well, now you know that it's not just you trying to eat well and move your body. It is all of the underlying mechanisms, but let's actually go a little bit deeper. Let's look into the science. The first one I want to share with you is insulin, right? So if you have high levels of insulin, which is testable, we test it on the stress, mood, and metabolism test, which you can do right at home. And so if insulin levels are high, whether it's from blood sugar levels are high or just insulin levels are high, also from elevated levels of cortisol and stress, what it does is it blocks something called lipolysis. Lipolysis enables you or is the act of fat burning, right? So your body thinks like, oh, well, we've got glucose in the blood. We'll just burn that instead of burning body fat. Now, of course, it gets a little bit more in depth than that, but it's not going to go searching out for what are called adipocytes, right? So basically fuel locked in your adipose tissue, which is your fat, right? So it's not going to break that down to use that for fuel if insulin levels are high. The first thing we always do is we add a good intermittent fast into our client's diet, and we try to get them walking after as many meals as possible, and maybe even an AM walk to start their day fasted, and then a walk after dinner. If that's all you can do, it's a great place to start, and then simply fast by 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and then eat again between 8 and 10 in the morning, all right? It's a great first place to start, and again, after you get more in depth, again, we can give you all sorts of personalized recommendations, but let's start with making sure that you're knocking out the basics. And if you're doing that, great. All right, let's look at the next one. So the second signal is this. It's AMPK. Now, this is an important one because this actually goes up during fasting if the body is balanced. So in AMPK, while we are fasting or we're moving our body's becoming more catabolic. It's breaking down more, right? So the body says, oh, okay, no fuel's coming in. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean up all the garbage in the body. That's autophagy, right? That's why we like that. Helps with potentially cancer cells, etc. But it's going to break down more body fat if blood sugar levels are low enough, right? And if your body actually needs to expend the energy, right? So that's why it's so important. A couple of these is really moving your body. But you can just start, like you don't have to start with boot camp exercise. You can literally start with body weight exercises a couple times a week, like a Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, 20 minutes. That's literally it. We're talking about like push-ups. You can do them inclined if you need to. You can do them however you want, right? Body weight squats, lunges, just get your body moving. And then those walks that I talked about. A little bit in the morning, a little bit after dinner, start with that, right? So we want to get that going. That gets the metabolism moving so that when you are fasted, your body's used to having to repair and need more fuel and burn more. That's really, that's an important one. A lot of people miss that one. All right, the third one goes right along with insulin. So people think that it's all about carbohydrates and blood sugar. It's not. It's about high levels of catecholamines. So think about this. When your body increases norepinephrine, think about stress on the body, high sauna, cold plunge, etc. It actually starts to burn more fat, but only if the stress isn't chronic and only if cortisol levels don't stay elevated, right? So here's the issue. When cortisol stays elevated and the body's in a chronic state of stress, insulin levels can increase without carbohydrates just from high levels of glucocorticoids, right? Cortisol, increasing blood sugar levels, taxing the liver, where a lot of this takes place, and increasing insulin levels, which affects the pancreas, right? So all of this, again, I know I'm starting to get a little bit into the science of the weeds, but just keep in mind, the higher the stress, the longer it goes on. In the short term, you actually burn more body fat. In the long term, you store more, especially around the belly and the love handles, right? So that's an important one to look at. And once those cortisol levels get high, unfortunately, it leads to usually higher levels of estrogen in the body, more body fat storage. When body fat goes up, guess what happens? It increases estrogen-based production as well, right? So it's a vicious cycle that continues. So that's why stress and getting our stress under control, the walking helps, the 3 meals a day helps, not removing all your carbohydrates, all of those things help because protein doesn't cut cortisol, fat doesn't cut cortisol, but carbohydrates do. All right, so use them wisely as part of an overall balanced, healthy nutrition plan. All right, number 4 is this inflammation reduction. It's usually the missing link for most people. The problem is they don't know where the inflammation is coming from, right? So if inflammation is high, it blocks insulin signaling, right? So you don't get a proper insulin release to bring these sugars out of the blood, pull them into your liver, natural storage place, pull them in your muscles, natural storage place, especially if you're exercising, right? That's a good thing about exercise. It empties some of the sugar storage sites so that you can bring more in, right? That's why you can eat carbohydrates. You just want to move your body as well. I think that's a really important part of it. That's, again, what we share with our clients. You're going to burn more body fat, of course, when you have balanced insulin levels and you have less inflammation. And you're also going to improve your mitochondria, which we'll talk about in the last one. So here's the thing. You may not know where your inflammation is coming from. A lot of times it's coming from gut imbalances. SIBO, yeast overgrowth, could be coming from H. pylori, from parasites, from food sensitivities, from leaky gut. So really looking at what's going on with the gut is important. You can test your food sensitivities. You can test your, it's called a Candida metabolic and vitamins test to look at your yeast levels, bacterial levels. You can actually look at your mitochondria. It's pretty amazing. Your vitamin levels. So all this is important, but poor sleep, are you overtraining too much? If you take your calories down to 1,200 a day and you're working out 5 times a week, you're most likely overtraining and undereating. And that's going to lead to massive inflammation and also accelerated aging. So again, one of the big tips that we try to share with individuals is that I get it, I understand what you're trying to do, but you don't want to accelerate aging that quickly as well. Because when you're massively catabolic, meaning the body's breaking down more than it's building back up, that's a tough place to be. And over the years, it really begins to show. Thinner skin, wrinkling of the skin, hair getting thin, hair falling out, all of the things that come with essentially being more catabolic and overtrained, underfed. All right, toxins are a big one, environmental toxins, but it also could be things such as mold causing inflammation. So understanding how all of this is taking place in your body. Again, you can just go to, I talk about this in Personomics, probably one of the best places to start. Talked about it first, the Rainbow Effect. Those 2 books will give you a good overview. If you want to do at-home lab testing, you just go to stephencabral.com/labs. It'll share with you all the different labs. So however we can help you, just let us know. Leave a comment. Let us know where you're starting, what you need help with. If you want to go a little bit more in depth, write a question at cabralsupportgroup.com. We're always happy to help. All right, so let's get into the last one, mitochondrial support, right? So the mitochondria can be a bottleneck, and here's why. So a lot of people don't think about the mitochondria when they're thinking about burning body fat, but they need to. And that is because if you want to use fat as a fuel, your mitochondria is going to use it as its part of its engine. It's going to use it as part of its fuel, right? So the mitochondria, the fat's going to pass through the mitochondria to be used, right? So that's how we're going to work through this process of breaking the fat down through lipolysis, actually using it as a mitochondrial-based fuel. And this is important because if there is inflammation, if there's high levels of free radicals in the body, so not enough antioxidants, too much breakdown, right? If you are over dieting, right? So not enough fuel. If you do have a lot of toxins, that creates a lot of the free radicals. This begins to create things like brain fog and grogginess, poor response to exercise, evening anxiety, and then like the real fatigue in the morning. All of this could be a sign that your mitochondria aren't working as well. Again, that Candida metabolic and vitamins test will look for that simple urine test. And yes, B vitamins will help, zinc will help, glutamine will help, vitamin C will help. Like all those things will definitely help. And that's why we use the daily nutritional support, just because it gives you all of those in one, right? Omega-3s will help, vitamin D3 will help. So yes, all of those things will help. However, don't forget that there's something in the background causing that underlying root cause. So it could be plastics or phthalates. It could be other things that you're exposing your body to, that heavy metals that are harming your mitochondria. So really important to look at that as well. But here's the main thing is that, as I know it's a lot to look at, but you have to understand is as I went through all of these things today, you can be, again, eating the right macros and you can be moving your body. But if there is high levels of food sensitivities, heavy metals, and there are things going on in your body, that is why you may be stuck. And so that's why, again, you are doing the right things. There's no doubt about it. But you might be stuck because weight loss is not as simple as calories in, calories out. For many people, it could be. They were overeating and under moving their body. No doubt about it. So you should start there, right? No doubt about it. But when you start going below 1,600, 1,400 calories per day, you have to think about how few calories can you put in your body and still get all the micronutrients you need as well. So it is something to think about. Again, I can't give it all in one podcast. I want to, but I have probably 300 free weight loss based podcasts, all at stephencabral.com/podcasts. When you go there, scroll through the images at the top, just click on the weight loss one, and you'll actually see all the free podcasts just on weight loss. I want to be able to help. Ask your question at cabralsupportgroup.com. That's probably the best place. And for all of today's show note links, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/3645. Hopefully this was helpful. Do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve.